Alright, there it goes. Hello everyone. Just wanted to share a couple of thoughts um, about what I think about this coronavirus pandemic, because I do have a couple of things to say. I've had it myself about in February, I think, when it was all unfolding quickly. There was not much information available at that point. I do have a couple of videos on my channel about how my personal disease went and what kind of symptoms I had and everything, but sadly it's in another language, so I don't think that the worldwide audience will be able to watch that comfortably. Anyways, what I'm trying to say in this video is about the global situation, not about my personal case. And the reason why I decided to do this now is because the number of casualties, or whatever you call it, the number of deaths is nearing 1 million, and by some sources it has already reached 1 million deaths, sadly, which is of course a huge tragedy for all of us. And my heart really goes out to those who lost their loved ones. But in this video I want to be a bit more optimistic about the whole statistics and details. So to start with, I wanted you to take a look at the calculations of how much 1 million is from the global population. And I'm right now looking at Google calculator, and it says that it's like a bit more than 1% of 1%, so it's 100th of 1%. All right, and the pandemic has been here for almost a year. So I know that in the beginning there were less cases than by February. I mean, like January, February, March, it really skyrocketed. I mean, in terms of number of cases, but in general, it's safe to say that the pandemic has been here for almost a year, and by the time that the official number of deaths reaches 1 million, which is going to be in, I don't know, a week probably. Again, there are different sources of information, and the World Health Organization gives us the number of 960 something thousand deaths. I think that by the middle of October, tops, we're going to have to see the number 1 million from the World Health Organization. But I've already seen on the news some headlines saying that it has been reached. This number has been reached, and it's been almost 10 months from the point when the pandemic is considered to have been started, to have been. Well, I shouldn't have said started. Sorry, just confused with the words a bit. Looking at my notes here. Just think about the number, really. It's 100th of 1%. Isn't it like... I'm not saying that it's not much. Of course, every human death is a tragedy, especially for their loved ones, and for us as a society too. But can we take a look at the numbers, please, just to see what it means in terms of the world economy, the world, society, and our attitude to this problem has to be corresponding to the numbers. That's what I think. And we don't know really how many of these people have died with the coronavirus infection, not because of it, right? Because especially at early points, people who died and had coronavirus were registered as people who died because of it. I don't know what's going on now, because it makes no sense really scientifically to register these people as dying because of coronavirus. Because you know what happens, people die naturally because of their age, and they may have had the coronavirus infection in their bodies, even though it caused no symptoms or very mild symptoms, and the actual reason of death was something absolutely different. So there is a chance that some of the statistics are overestimated. There's no guarantee though, so it's just a thought. Because on the other hand, there are cases that have not been registered at all. Some countries prefer to what do you call it, like to sweeten the pill, to make the situation look better for their population, to not lose popularity among electorate, and for that reason some statistics have been meddled with by lowering it, obviously, rather than raising, and people get all kinds of diagnoses like pneumonia, like not related to coronavirus infection, so just so that the statistics show less numbers than there really are. So probably these two kind of equalize themselves, right? Equalize each other. I mean, the first point being that some people die with the infection rather than because of it, and on the other hand, some statistics have been lowered by governments of various countries. Another point that I'd like you to think about is that the world population has jumped up during this year from 7.7 billion people to 7.8 billion people, which means that we have lost 1 million people to allegedly to coronavirus infection, but at the same time the world has gained 100 million people more, which is a good thing, really. If you want there to be more people rather than less people, if you worry about the world's population, then we are doing a pretty good job, because 100 million people have been born. I mean, the world population has jumped up by 100 million, even despite of this coronavirus problem. Also, I'd like to think about all the vaccines that are being prepared. There is a chance, I'm not sure how big this chance is, but to my eye, the situation looks optimistic. I think that there's going to be some. It's not that I think about this, it's that I know that there's going to be various vaccines available from world leading countries, and not only those countries, all kinds of countries trying to make a vaccine that's safe and effective. And even if because of some reason it doesn't work, there's still a chance that scientists will be able to produce a medicine, an effective medicine. There's been done so much progress already, and I'm really thankful to the world scientific community for making a real effort. I know that there hasn't been found one unique official drug, one kind of universal medicine that works for everyone to defend from this coronavirus infection. But I know that there are some options, that some medicines are being produced. Some medicines were proven to be ineffective, which is also a good thing. Like to know to know which options are not working is also part of the progress. Well, I'm just trying to say that with this kind of death ratio, it would take about 80 years for this infection to kill just 1% of the modern population of the world. 80 years or something around that number, probably a bit more like 70 years or 90, I don't know. It's hard to say, but I'm just doing the projection. If it's 100th of 1%, well, to be precise, it's 12 thousandths of 1%, okay? So, yeah, I think it's safe to say that it would take about 80 years for this infection to wipe out 1% of the population. And I'm sure that 80 years would be more than enough to come up with a solution. Good. Another point is I wanted people, it was interesting for me to see, and I want to share this information. Well, it's not that it's secret, but I'm just kind of putting up a video, and I'm trying to use a lot of data here that can be relevant. We're looking now at the chart from the website called ourworldindata.org. I'm not sure how much you can trust this website because it's new to me, to be honest, but it was in the top search results of Google. I think it's safe to trust it. Well, I don't know, you can check it for yourself if you want, yeah. But it looks realistic to me, and there you go. You remember the number? It's not even 1 million yet, but we'll just assume that it's going to be 1 million within the next couple of weeks. I mean, the number of deaths from this coronavirus infection. Just for your information, cardiovascular diseases, 17.79 million per year. This data is taken from the year 2017. Cancers take away 8.56 million lives every year. Well, I'm basing this number on the year 2017. Then, a very interesting point, respiratory diseases and lower respiratory infections, they come as two different points here. The first one giving us 3.91 million deaths in 2017, and lower respiratory infections, 2.56 million. So they are both related somehow to your lungs and breathing. If I'm not being stupid, I hope I'm not, because it has to do something with respiration, yeah, which is breathing, basically. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it is. I'm not a doctor, you see, I'm just a guy. That's why I'm trying to be careful with my wordings, yeah, with my terms. And if I'm not 100% sure of something, I'm just not saying it. Or I'm saying that I may not know. Anyways, I want to remind you, the year that we're talking about here is 2017. It's like 3 years before, or 2 years and a half before all this pandemic started. So it has nothing to do with the coronavirus infections, unless you believe in some conspiracy theories that it's been with us for longer than it's officially declared. And together, these 2 points, respiratory diseases and lower respiratory infections, they together give us 5 million, even a bit more than 5 million deaths in 2017 without any coronavirus infections. And still, it has something to do with your lungs. Then, dementia, 2.5 million. Digestive diseases, 2.38 million. Neonatal, to be honest, I'm not sure what that is. Neonatal disorders, 1.78 million. Diarrheal diseases, 1.57 million. I just want to say 1.5, but then decided to give you the exact number. Diabetes, 1.37 million. Liver diseases, 1.32 million. Road injuries, traffic accidents, I assume, right? 1.24 million. Think about this. We get killed in our cars just by driving more often than we die because of coronavirus infection or with the coronavirus infection. I think it's a good thing to look at. I mean, it gives you more information, and you can open your eyes and see what things really are. Yeah, kidney diseases, 1.23 million. Tuberculosis, is that how you pronounce that word? 1.18 million. HIV or AIDS, there's a bit less than a million in 2017. 954,492 people died because of HIV and AIDS in 2017. And that's the next number is really interesting. It says suicide, 795,823 people. Incredible. I'll just round it up. I'll repeat this first, okay? 793,823 people chose to kill themselves in 2017. It was their decision to voluntarily leave this life. And here we have this infection, coronavirus infection, that kills just a bit more. Has killed in almost a year, okay? Let's assume that by the end of the year it's going to be like 1,200,000, 1,100,000 probably. And it's comparable with the number of suicides in 2017 again. I don't know if I have to say anything else on the matter, on this matter. It's really, it saddens me to see this number, first of all, of suicides, because before I googled that, I had no idea about the number. It's almost 1 million people in a year, and it's just the officially registered cases, which is probably not accurate enough. I mean, we don't have any better numbers, but there you go. One more time, people choose to kill themselves almost as often as they die because or with the coronavirus infection. Incredible, innit? I'm just saying that what's the whole point of this video that I'm trying to make now is that not that I'm saying that it's safe, all this coronavirus disease. Of course, I'm not saying that. I see the dangers. I have had it myself. I had nasty symptoms. I couldn't smell things. That's how I knew it was this. In fact, this disease, not some other. I have to be honest with you, completely, like 100% honest. I did not take a test because, well, they wouldn't give me the test. At that point, it was not available because it was the early stages. And there was no medicine, and still there is no medicine, like one officially recognized medicine. So I decided not even to bother the doctors, because I figured I'm young enough to recover myself, and I decided that I would get to the hospital only if I felt really bad, which I didn't. Yeah, I'm just saying that the loss of the ability to smell things is what made me sure that it was the coronavirus infection, together with other symptoms, of course, like high temperature and headaches and everything. Um, so what I'm trying to say now is that I'm not trying to suggest that this disease is not dangerous and you should ignore the rules. Of course not, because even with all of this information that I've provided, still every human life is a treasure, and the loss of every human life is a tragedy. So of course you should still care about your lives, your health, and of course you must think about the relatives that you have who are probably older than you, your parents, your grandparents, and jeopardizing their health and safety would be ridiculous, of course. I'm just saying that there are reasons to be optimistic about what's going on right now. There are reasons to look forward with optimism, and hope for the better future for all of us. Um, I think that it could have been much worse, and what the world should be focusing on right now is getting ready for the next pandemic that is going to happen probably at some point, um, and it may. I'm just trying to imagine what it could have happened if this disease had a higher mortality rate. Uh, it really can scare some people to think about this even. Um, I think it could have been worse, much worse, and our community and the scientists, they are supposed to. It's not my. I'm not in the position to be telling the scientists what to do. Of course, I'm just saying that I would be really thankful if they focused on prevention of the next pandemic, or at least finding ways to research treatments more effectively than it is happening now, because now it's been almost a year and still there is a lot of progress, of course, as I said earlier, but still there is no one recognized medicine, there is no vaccine. But I'm not complaining. Please don't think that I'm complaining. I know that vaccines take time, and it was clear from the beginning that no vaccine can be prepared in less than a year, even though it's technically possible. It is not how it is regulated. Yeah, the regulations require it to be tested, and it is physically possible to prepare a vaccine in less than a year, but it is considered to be unsafe. So there is no problem. I don't have a problem with this. Anyways, I think I'm saying too much now. Just last point, just for the comparison of this with something else. Yeah, because how do we estimate things? We compare them with other things. And what I wanted to look at myself and wanted to share with you now is the pandemic that happened 100 years ago, roughly. Yeah, so-called Spanish flu, which is not Spanish, actually. I mean, it does not come from Spain. It's just that I'm sure you've all heard the story that there was a problem with freedom of speech in the media. A lot of information used to be declared as classified and was not coming through to newspapers everywhere in Europe, but Spain. Yeah, in Spain, I'm not sure what it was like. Spain was not participating in that military conflict, or it did, but did not limit the freedom of newspapers. It's either of two. And what happened is that they were the first country who published the articles in newspapers about this infectious disease. So that's why it is it's left and will forever be called in the history as Spanish flu, even though it does not come from Spain specifically. Wikipedia says that estimates say that there's been 17 to 50 plus million deaths. So that's not easy to really to understand the number, because it may have been 17 million, it may have been 55 million, we're not sure for some reason. And another number that comes from the same place, from the same Wikipedia article, it says from 50 to 100 million, and it says disputed. I don't know, can we assume that it was 50 million? 50 million, because it's the upper border of the estimate and the lower border of disputed number. So if we assume that it's 50 million, just for convenience, I'm just trying to take the average number of what I'm looking at. If it was 50 million deaths, then let's take a look at the world population at that period of time. So the year of the pandemic is...
Sorry, just trying to make it comfortable for myself rather than you. Sorry, I'm not going to be editing the video. That's why it's not so comfortable for you to watch. There you go. It happened.
Yeah, that's good. Sorry, I'm being stupid, really stupid. I now see the numbers. So in 1918, we don't see the number, but we do see a number in 1920, which is 1,860,000,000 by the estimates of the United Nations. So if we assume that there was the number of deaths because of the Spanish flu was 50 million, then this world population in 1920 could have been, instead of 1,860,000,000, it could have been 1,910,000,000. And I'm just trying to see how much of the world's population was allegedly, supposedly wiped out by the Spanish flu. So to do this, I need to divide 50 million by 1,910,000,000. Alright, let's do this. 50 million divided by 1,910,000,000. There you go. It looks like the Spanish flu killed about 2.5% of the population of the world. Is it much? I don't know. It looks gigantic to me compared to the coronavirus infection. Let me get my facts right. If I'm just trying to double check myself, if the world population in 1920 is estimated to be 1.86 billion people, which is 1,860,000,000, then if we assume that the number of deaths because of the Spanish flu was 50 million, then the world population could have been 1,910,000,000. And 50 million represents about 2.5%, 2.6% to be precise, 2.6% of the world population in a couple of years, which is still dramatic, but not capable of destroying the world economy or anything. Yep, that's pretty much all that I wanted to say, guys. Stay safe, and please don't take my video as a declaration of the disease not being dangerous or anything. I'm just saying that we will recover, and that there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to recover as a society and as the world's economy as well. So good luck and stay safe. Thanks for watching, and yeah, that's pretty much all that I want to say. Thank you. Cheers.